The stars stretched endlessly above the human settlement, a tapestry of silver light on black velvet. From the horizon, the first alien scout ships appeared, sleek and glinting, moving with perfect precision, but it was not the ships that drew the human eyes the most. It was the lone figure standing in the middle of the training ground, tall and alert. Commander Mara, the leader of the human settlement, watched silently as the alien crafts approached, her hand resting lightly on the hilt of her sidearm. Humans were not afraid. They had prepared. Every patrol, every guard post, every creature that lived with them had been trained, tested, and sharpened like a blade. They had learned long ago that in space, survival required more than courage. It required strategy, intelligence, and unity. The largest ship touched down first, landing with an almost ceremonial grace. A hiss of air escaped the ship's hull as the doors opened, and the alien ambassador emerged. He was tall, far taller than any human, with eyes that glimmered like liquid silver and skin that reflected the starlight. Around him, his reinforcements gathered, hundreds of beings stepping in perfect formation, their armor catching every ray of the sun. But the humans did not flinch. Commander Mara stepped forward, her boots crunching against the gravel. Behind her, the guard animals stirred, wolves, hawks, and massive dogs, each alert, each radiating a strange combination of strength and intelligence. The ambassador's eyes narrowed. He had faced countless species, conquered many worlds, and yet this small human settlement stood unshaken. And what were these creatures? Ordinary animals. He had heard tales of human ingenuity, but this was something he could not have anticipated. The ambassador's voice echoed, carried by a strange device that translated it into a language the humans could understand. Humans. We return, not for diplomacy, but to ensure compliance. Step aside or face consequences. Mara's gaze did not waver. You already know the answer. We will not yield. You may try to force us, but you will learn what humans call partners. With a sharp whistle, Mara signaled the guard animals. Wolves bounded forward, their movements precise, almost calculated. Massive dogs flanked the edges of the formation, growling low, their teeth bared but not yet striking. Hawks lifted into the air, circling, their eyes scanning for even the smallest movement. The ambassador's reinforcements stopped short, confused by the display. He had seen human defenses before, but never like this. These were not mindless machines or trained soldiers. They were living allies, bonded with humans, moving as one unit. It was unlike anything he had encountered in his campaigns across the stars. A low rumble passed through the ground as the largest wolf stepped forward, staring directly at one of the alien scouts. In that moment, the scout faltered, sensing something primal yet intelligent. The human leader laughed softly. Almost a whisper carried on the wind, and the ambassador felt an unfamiliar tension coil around him. What are these creatures? One of his lieutenants hissed. They are humans, guardians, the ambassador replied, though his voice lacked certainty. He had underestimated the humans once before, and he would not make the same mistake again. Yet even he could not predict the depth of the bond between human and animal. The aliens advanced cautiously, their weapons raised, but each step was measured. The guard animals mirrored them. Wolves moving with silent grace, dogs circling strategically, and hawks diving as if ready to strike at any moment. Humans had spent years training them not only to fight but to anticipate threats, to coordinate silently. It was a network of instincts and intelligence that no technology could easily overcome. Mara raised her hand and stepped forward alone, the creatures forming a perfect circle around her. We do not wish to fight if it can be avoided, she said. But understand this, every human here, every creature, every part of the settlement is prepared to defend itself. We are not weak. We are not primitive. We are more than you have been told. The ambassador's eyes flicked to the creatures again. One of the massive dogs, nearly as tall as a small alien, barked sharply. It was not just a warning, it was a test. The aliens paused, unsure how to react. The human leader smiled slightly, seeing the hesitation, knowing that fear had begun to creep into their ranks. Then, a sudden movement, a hawk diving at an alien scout's head, forcing it to duck, causing a ripple of chaos in the formation. The ambassador's reinforcements stumbled, their coordination faltering as the guard animals executed their strategy flawlessly. The wolves moved with lightning speed, cutting off paths, hurting the scouts in ways the ambassador had never imagined. The humans did not shout commands. They only gestured subtly, and their partners understood instinctively. The ambassador's face tightened, He had returned with reinforcements expecting compliance, expecting humans to cower. Instead, he saw the truth of the legend, the humans' ability to adapt, to survive, and to fight alongside their companions in ways no alien mind could anticipate. For the first time, he hesitated. The humans' reputation for ingenuity and resilience was not an exaggeration. It was terrifyingly real, and what he saw now, these guard animals, trained and intelligent beyond his expectations, was a symbol of a species that refused to be conquered. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the settlement, Mara raised her hand again. This time she did not call her guard animals forward. Instead, she spoke directly to the ambassador. "You may leave," she said calmly, "but know this. If you return with the intention to take what is ours, you will face every creature, every human, and every strategy we have prepared. You may have numbers, but we have unity, intelligence, and loyalty. You will not leave unchanged." The ambassador stared at her, then at the creatures around her. His reinforcements shifted uneasily. A low growl from the wolf pack echoed in the settling silence, and even the bravest alien could feel it. He realized that humans had something he had never seen elsewhere, a combination of cunning, courage, and bond that no weapon could fully overcome. Finally, he stepped back, raising a hand in what humans recognized as a gesture of temporary retreat. The ships lifted off slowly, their engines leaving trails of blue fire against the darkening sky. Mara did not move until the last ship disappeared beyond the horizon. Then she exhaled softly, her hand dropping to her side. Her guard animals remained alert, sensing that this was only the beginning. Somewhere among the stars, the alien ambassador would be plotting, returning with reinforcements larger, stronger, more prepared. But Mara smiled slightly as she watched her creatures settle back, knowing that humans were never truly alone. They had allies, partners, and guardians that no alien could easily match. The night deepened, and the stars seemed to shine a little brighter over the human settlement. Somewhere far away, the alien ambassador reported back to his council, his words tinged with respect and fear. "These humans," he said, "they are unlike any species we have faced. Their power is not in their weapons or their numbers, it is in their will, their bond, and their guardians. We must reconsider." And in the human settlement, Commander Mara looked at the horizon, her hand brushing the fur of one of the massive wolves beside her. "Let them come," she whispered. "We are ready." The first clash was over. But the war of wits, strategy, and courage had only just begun. The humans had shown their strength not through overwhelming firepower, but through intelligence, unity, and an unbreakable bond with their remarkable guardians. The galaxy would soon learn what humans were truly capable of. The sun had just risen over the human settlement when the deep hum of engines echoed across the plains. Commander Mara's eyes narrowed as she scanned the horizon. This time it wasn't just a scout ship. Dozens of alien vessels appeared, moving in perfect formation. Sleek and metallic, they blocked the morning light like a second sun. The alien ambassador had returned, but this time he was not alone. Behind him came his reinforcements, rows upon rows of highly trained alien warriors, each clad in armor that reflected the sunlight. Weapons glinted from their belts, and their movements were precise, almost mechanical. These were not scouts or diplomats, they were conquerors, arriving to ensure that humans finally yielded. But the humans did not panic. Mara stood tall, her posture relaxed but commanding. Beside her, her guard animals, wolves, dogs, and hawks, stood ready, their eyes fixed on the incoming ships. They were not ordinary animals. Humans had spent years training them, enhancing their senses, sharpening their instincts, and strengthening their loyalty. These creatures were partners, friends, and protectors all at once. Mara raised her hand, signaling the outer patrols. Wolves padded silently into position along the ridges, their fur blending with the shadows. Massive dogs stationed themselves near the settlement's entrances, muscles coiled like springs. Hawks circled above, scanning the alien vessels with eyes sharper than any sensor the aliens could deploy. From orbit, the alien ambassador observed the scene and felt a flicker of unease. He had expected the humans to cower before him, to plead for mercy, or at least to retreat. Instead, they were calm, organized, and defiant. And those guard animals, he realized, they were unlike any creatures he had ever encountered. Their coordination, intelligence, and fearlessness were far beyond ordinary wildlife. The reinforcements descended slowly, landing on cleared areas just outside the settlement. Dust swirled around their massive landing platforms, and the hum of their engines filled the air. From the ships, the alien warriors disembarked in formation, their weapons ready. The ambassador's voice carried across the field. "Humans," he said, his tone colder now. "We give you one last warning. Yield your settlement or face total destruction." Mara stepped forward, her hand brushing against the fur of the wolf nearest to her. "You may have numbers," she said, her voice calm, "but you underestimate what humans call guardians. You may try to strike us, but these creatures are more than companions, they are our partners. You will learn quickly that we fight differently than you expect." The ambassador frowned, his instincts screaming caution. He had faced countless civilizations, all of whom relied on technology and brute force. But humans and their guardians relied on something far more difficult to predict: intuition, coordination, and a bond stronger than fear. The first movement came suddenly. One of the alien scouts broke formation, attempting to flank the settlement. But a massive wolf had already anticipated the move. With lightning speed, it leapt into the scout's path, forcing the alien to stop. The wolf did not attack immediately. It waited, circling, analyzing. Mara raised her hand, giving a subtle signal, and the wolf lunged forward, knocking the alien's weapon from his grip and herding him toward the center of the settlement. The alien soldiers paused, uncertain how to react. Their scanners showed no significant threat from these creatures, yet the wolves moved with intelligence, herding, blocking, and anticipating every step. Even the most experienced alien warriors hesitated, seeing a pattern they could not break. The humans did not panic. Mara moved among the guard animals, gesturing subtly, and each creature responded instinctively. Hawks dived at alien drones attempting surveillance, forcing them off course. Massive dogs blocked access points, growling low, their eyes glowing with anticipation. Humans and animals worked together as one seamless unit. The ambassador's brow furrowed. He had returned to show force, to intimidate, and perhaps to conquer. Instead, he was witnessing a new kind of warfare, one where strength was not measured in numbers or firepower, but in intelligence, loyalty, and coordination. These humans were not just defending, they were teaching a lesson. One of the alien lieutenants whispered urgently, "Sir, they are controlling their creatures. The animals are reacting like soldiers." "Yes," the ambassador admitted uneasily. "They are not ordinary humans. And these creatures, they are not ordinary animals. Proceed with caution." A second wave of scouts advanced, attempting to test the humans' defenses. Wolves intercepted, forming moving barriers that funneled the aliens into narrow pathways. Dogs flanked, ensuring no scout could escape the trap. Hawks dived from above, distracting and disorienting. The humans, meanwhile, moved with quiet precision, positioning themselves at key points, ready to intervene if needed. The humans' strategy became clear. They did not aim to overpower the aliens with force alone. They aimed to control the battlefield, using intelligence, foresight, and their unique partnerships with their guard animals. Each move was calculated, each signal silent but effective. The ambassador's face tightened as he watched. He had faced planets with advanced war machines, fleets of starships, and countless trained armies. Yet he had never seen a defense like this: living creatures bonded with humans, operating as a unit that could think, adapt, and strike with precision. Mara raised her voice, addressing the ambassador directly. "We do not fear you," she said. "You may have technology, you may have numbers, but you lack what makes us strong: unity and loyalty. Every human here, every creature, every part of this settlement is ready to defend itself. If you attack, you will face a force unlike anything you have faced before." The ambassador's reinforcements faltered. Even his most disciplined soldiers hesitated, seeing the wolves and dogs forming defensive lines, the hawks circling like silent sentinels. The humans' movements were graceful and coordinated, a symphony of strategy and instinct. It was unlike any battlefield he had ever witnessed. One of the alien scouts attempted to charge forward, thinking sheer speed would overwhelm a wolf pack. But the humans anticipated this. Mara signaled a single wolf, which intercepted the scout mid-charge. It did not kill, it restrained, redirecting the alien toward a controlled area. The other wolves moved as if in perfect harmony, creating a moving wall of intelligence and strength. The ambassador realized the truth. These humans had trained their creatures not only to fight, but to understand tactics, to anticipate threats, and to act with discretion. They were not relying solely on technology or brute force. They were using living allies with instincts far superior to any machine. For the first time, He felt genuine uncertainty. He had underestimated the humans once before. He would not do so again, but he also realized that his reinforcements, no matter how strong, could not simply overpower the humans and their guardians. He needed a new plan, one that required patience, observation, and perhaps respect for a species he had thought weak. The humans did not attack. They did not need to. Their presence, their coordination with their guard animals, and their unwavering calm were enough to halt the alien advance. Mara stood among her wolves and dogs, her eyes on the ambassador, unflinching, confident, and commanding. As the day wore on, the alien ships hovered above, reluctant to land further. The ambassador's voice echoed across the field again, this time quieter, almost contemplative. These humans, they are extraordinary. Their strength is not in their weapons. Their strength is in their will, their unity, and their bond with these creatures. We must proceed carefully. Mara watched the ships retreat slightly, her hand resting on the head of a massive wolf. Let them come, she whispered. We are ready for whatever they bring next. The settlement was alive with movement, but not panic. Humans and their guard animals moved seamlessly together, preparing for whatever challenge might arrive. They were strong, not because of weapons or numbers, but because of trust, intelligence, and partnership. And somewhere far above, the alien ambassador realized that humans were not just survivors. They were a force to be reckoned with. The battle had not begun in earnest, but the first victory belonged to the humans. They had shown restraint, strategy, and unity, and in doing so, they sent a clear message to the galaxy. Humans were not to be underestimated. The ambassador retreated for now, but Mara knew this was only the beginning. He would return, stronger, more prepared, and perhaps more determined. But humans and their extraordinary guardians were ready. The stars above the settlement seemed to shine brighter, as if recognizing the courage and unity of a species that refused to bow. And in that quiet moment, Mara looked at her wolves and dogs, her heart swelling with pride. Together, she said softly, we are unstoppable. The night fell over the human settlement like a blanket, quiet but tense. Commander Mara stood at the highest hill, her eyes scanning the horizon. In the distance, alien ships moved silently, hovering with mechanical precision. The alien ambassador had returned once more, and this time the humans knew he was not coming to negotiate. He was coming to test them. The settlement streets were empty of civilians. Everyone had been moved to safe shelters. Only the trained defenders remained, along with the extraordinary guard animals. Wolves padded silently along the walls, their senses sharp. Dogs positioned themselves near entrances and supply routes. Hawks circled above, their keen eyes scanning for any sign of alien movement. The humans had studied the aliens' patterns, anticipating the ambassador's strategy, and they had prepared countermeasures. Mara touched the fur of a massive wolf beside her. Tonight, she whispered, we show them what humans can do when we fight as one. The wolf growled softly in response, a deep, resonant sound that echoed across the hilltop. The connection between human and guardian was more than trust. It was instinct, built over years of training and mutual respect. Below, the first wave of alien scouts approached. They were cautious, moving with the precision of trained soldiers, yet uncertain. The ambassador's reinforcements were skilled, but they lacked understanding of the terrain and the humans' unique coordination with their animals. Mara had predicted this. The human strategy relied not on sheer force, but on anticipation, adaptability, and the exceptional abilities of their guard animals. A hawk dived silently, striking the lead scout's helmet with a force that startled him. He stumbled, and immediately wolves moved in from both sides, flanking and isolating him. The other scouts hesitated, unsure how to proceed. Mara signaled with a hand, and the wolves shifted seamlessly, herding the scouts into an open area where humans waited. The humans did not attack recklessly. Each step, each movement was precise. Dogs blocked potential escape routes, growling and snapping to guide the aliens exactly where humans wanted them. Mara watched carefully, calculating each move. The aliens were strong, but the humans were smarter. They used strategy and intuition rather than brute force, turning even minor advantages into significant victories. The ambassador observed from his ship, his expression unreadable. He had expected the humans to fight like other species he had encountered, recklessly, aggressively, trying to overpower with numbers or technology. Instead, he saw intelligence, patience, and coordination. Each human seemed to anticipate the alien's next move, and each guardian responded as if reading thoughts. Suddenly, one of the alien lieutenants tried a new tactic. A small drone, armed with scanners and disruptors, moved toward the human command center. Mara noticed immediately. She raised her arm, signaling a hawk. The bird dove with incredible speed, colliding with the drone, knocking it off course. At the same time, a wolf and 2 dogs intercepted the disrupted drone, keeping it from causing any harm. The humans cheered silently, knowing that their guardians had once again turned the tide without firing a single weapon. Mara smiled faintly. "They still do not understand," she murmured. "Humans do not fight alone. We fight together with every ally we have, even those they think are just animals." The alien reinforcements hesitated. The ambassador's face betrayed unease. He had underestimated humans once. Now he was realizing that they were more formidable than any report could capture. His soldiers could not easily adapt to the unexpected. They had technology, weapons, and numbers, but humans had instinct, intuition, and partnerships the aliens could not predict. The first direct confrontation began when a squad of aliens attempted to breach the settlement's outer defenses. The humans were ready. Wolves charged, dogs blocked, and humans flanked. It was a dance of precision, every movement calculated, every strike measured. The aliens were strong, but the humans' coordination with their guard animals amplified their strength exponentially. One alien warrior tried to fight off a wolf, swinging his weapon. The wolf dodged with astonishing speed, countering with a leap that forced the alien back. Another wolf moved in, nudging him toward a narrow passage where humans were waiting. The alien fought fiercely, but every action was anticipated. Humans and animals were in perfect synchrony, a combination of intelligence and instinct that no alien weapon could overcome. Above, the hawk struck again, targeting surveillance drones and small alien scouts attempting to find weak points. Each dive was precise, coordinated with the ground defenders, creating a web of disruption and control. The aliens could not predict the humans' tactics, and confusion spread through their ranks. The ambassador clenched his hands, watching as his soldiers struggled against what he had assumed would be an easy victory. These humans did not rely solely on brute force. They observed, analyzed, and adapted in real time. Their guard animals multiplied their capabilities, turning small forces into formidable obstacles. Mara knew the importance of maintaining calm, control, patience, and strategy. She told her team quietly. "We win by staying smart, not by rushing." Her words were mirrored in every action. Wolves did not attack recklessly. Dogs held positions strategically, and humans moved in perfect timing. A turning point came when an alien vehicle attempted to break through the central gate. Mara had anticipated it. She signaled, and a pair of massive wolves intercepted the vehicle, one on each side. Their sheer size and weight forced the vehicle to swerve. At the same time, 2 dogs attacked the rear tires, slowing its advance further. Human defenders moved in precisely, disabling the vehicle without causing catastrophic damage. The aliens were stunned. No weapon or armor had prepared them for this type of resistance. The ambassador's voice came through his translator, tight and frustrated. "Pull back, reassess. These humans, they are not ordinary. Every action we take is countered before we can complete it." Mara did not falter. She knew that victory did not come from anger or force, but from unity and adaptability. She moved through the battlefield, giving subtle signals to her team and her animals. Wolves shifted to block advancing squads, dogs redirected smaller groups, and hawks created confusion from above. Every move was deliberate, every decision amplified by their bond with the animals. One alien attempted a reckless charge, hoping to intimidate the defenders. A hawk swooped down, distracting him while 2 dogs flanked his position. A wolf approached from behind, its eyes locked on the alien. In the end, the alien was forced to surrender, cornered by a combination of human strategy and animal instinct. The ambassador's reinforcements were faltering, unsure how to respond to a defense so unlike anything they had trained for. From his ship, the ambassador realized a harsh truth. Humans were not to be underestimated. They had survived countless challenges, not because of technology alone, but because they understood unity, trust, and strategy. Their guardians, creatures trained to think, react, and fight alongside them, made them even more formidable. Mara walked across the battlefield, her wolves and dogs surrounding her. She looked at the retreating alien forces. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "They will come again stronger, but we will always be ready." The animals growled in agreement, and the humans felt a renewed sense of pride and courage. The stars above seemed to shine brighter that night, reflecting the bond between humans and their guardians. The ambassador had seen enough to know that a different kind of war had begun, a battle of intelligence, strategy, and unity rather than simple firepower. Humans had shown that strength could come from loyalty, instinct, and courage, qualities that no alien technology could fully match. As the aliens regrouped and retreated for the night, Mara stood on the hill with her guard animals. Her gaze was steady, her heart calm. "They will return," she said quietly. "But so will we, and next time we will be even stronger." The first battle had been won, not through brute force, but through cleverness, patience, and unity. The humans had shown the galaxy that they were not only survivors, but warriors in their own right. And their guard animals, loyal, intelligent, and fearless, had proven that humans were never truly alone in the fight. Somewhere far above, the alien ambassador communicated back to his council. His words were tinged with respect and unease. "The humans, they are extraordinary. Their strength is in their intelligence, their unity, and their bond with creatures we underestimated. We must reconsider our approach. They are not to be taken lightly." And in the human settlement, Mara looked at her wolves and dogs, her heart swelling with pride. "Together," she whispered, "we are unstoppable." The battle had ended, but the war was far from over. Humans had proven their strength, but greater challenges would come. And when they did, humans and their extraordinary guardians would meet them head-on, ready for whatever the galaxy could throw their way. The morning sun painted the settlement with golden light, but peace had not returned. Commander Mara and her team were busy fortifying the perimeter, repairing minor damages from the previous clash, and strategizing for what they knew was coming. The alien ambassador had retreated overnight, but Mara knew it was only temporary. He would return, and this time he would come with a plan. Her guard animals moved alongside her, a silent army of strength and intelligence. Wolves patrolled the ridges, ears twitching at every distant sound. Dogs ran through the settlement, inspecting entrances and supply lines. Hawks circled above, scanning the horizon for any sign of alien movement. Mara felt the familiar calm that came from working alongside them. They were more than companions. They were partners, extensions of her instincts and strategy. From orbit, the ambassador watched carefully. He had spent the night analyzing the humans' movements, their patterns, and the extraordinary bond they shared with their guardians. He realized that direct attacks would continue to fail unless he understood the human strategy and adapted accordingly. His mind worked quickly, devising a new approach, one that combined observation, patience, and targeted strikes rather than brute force. The reinforcements returned just before midday. This time their movements were cautious and calculated. They avoided direct confrontation, instead deploying small squads to probe the humans' defenses, studying their responses and identifying potential weaknesses. Mara noticed immediately. Her eyes narrowed as she observed the scouts' patterns, realizing that the ambassador was testing their tactics, learning from their movements. "Careful," she whispered to her team. "He's studying us. Every move we make, he's watching." The wolves shifted in response, instinctively understanding the need for patience. Dogs settled into defensive positions, ready to respond to any sudden threat. Hawks remained above, circling silently but alert. The humans had become a living network, combining intuition, strategy, and the remarkable abilities of their guardians. The first test came when a small alien squad attempted to infiltrate a supply depot on the outskirts of the settlement. Mara had anticipated this. She signaled subtly, and a pair of wolves moved silently to intercept the squad from both sides. Dogs flanked the other entrances, ensuring that no alien could escape unnoticed. The humans themselves positioned strategically, ready to intervene if needed. The aliens hesitated, sensing the trap. But the ambassador had predicted this possibility. He had chosen the squad carefully, elite soldiers trained to adapt. They moved cautiously, trying to disrupt the humans' coordination. Yet the humans and their guard animals responded flawlessly. Hawks dived, distracting the aliens while wolves blocked their retreat. Dogs created obstacles, guiding them exactly where the humans wanted. Within minutes, the squad was contained without a single human or animal being injured. Mara smiled faintly. "They are learning to respect us," she said quietly. "But we cannot let them grow too confident. We need to be ready for the next phase." And the next phase came swiftly. From orbit, the ambassador deployed small robotic drones, each equipped with sensors and scanners designed to map the settlement's defenses and identify the humans' strongest and weakest points. Mara noticed the first drone hovering near the training ground. She raised her hand, signaling a hawk. The bird dived silently, colliding with the drone and knocking it off course. Another hawk joined, disabling the second drone with incredible precision. The humans and their guardians had anticipated technological threats as well. Mara had instructed the hawks and wolves to react to any electronic devices, ensuring that no surveillance could go unnoticed. It was a dance of strategy, living instincts against artificial intelligence, and for now the humans were winning. The ambassador's brow furrowed. He had expected resistance, but he had not expected such adaptability. Every move he planned was countered not by force but by intelligence and instinct. He realized that brute strength alone would never succeed against humans. They fought differently than any species he had faced. Their guardians amplified their abilities, making every decision more powerful, every response faster. The human's strategy was not just defense, it was observation, anticipation, and subtle control of the battlefield. Mara moved among her wolves and dogs, signaling imperceptibly, coordinating attacks, blocks, and diversions. The aliens could see what was happening, but they could not predict exactly how humans and their guardians would respond next. A tense moment arose when an alien squad attempted to break the main gate, hoping to gain access to the settlement's interior. Mara had foreseen this. She signaled, and wolves and dogs moved into a precise formation, creating a living barricade. The humans themselves positioned at key points, ready to intercept any alien who made it past the animals. The aliens charged, expecting a confrontation, but the human strategy turned the assault into chaos. Hawks dived from above, striking at the alien squad with incredible timing. Wolves moved in, herding the attackers toward narrow passages where humans were waiting. Dogs flanked and blocked escape routes. The aliens found themselves trapped, forced to surrender or retreat, unable to adapt to the humans' combination of living guardians and tactical strategy. The ambassador watched from his command ship, his respect for humans growing with every passing minute. He had anticipated a straightforward conquest, relying on numbers and firepower. Instead, he witnessed strategy, adaptability, and unity on a level he had never imagined. Humans did not simply fight. They orchestrated, coordinated, and amplified every action through the bond with their guard animals. Mara knew this advantage could not be wasted. "We fight smart, not reckless," she reminded her team. "Every move counts. Every animal counts. Every human counts." Her words carried authority but also trust, and her guardians responded instinctively. Wolves blocked, dogs guided, and hawks disrupted. The humans themselves were calm, confident, and coordinated. By late afternoon, the aliens realized the limits of their strategy. They had studied humans, probed defenses, and attempted infiltration, but every action had been countered. The ambassador's reinforcements were strong, but the humans' unity and the extraordinary abilities of their guard animals made them unstoppable in a different way. The battle was not one of weapons alone, it was one of intelligence, observation, and instinct. The ambassador called his forces to retreat, hovering above the settlement as they regrouped. His voice, calm but tense, carried over the field. "The humans, they are unlike anything we expected. Their strength is not in force, but in coordination, loyalty, and instinct. They are formidable." Mara watched the retreating ship standing among her wolves and dogs. Her chest swelled with pride. They had survived another attack without a single human or animal seriously harmed. Their guardians had proven their value again, showing that humans were never truly alone in battle. As the night approached, Mara gathered her team. "They will return," she said, her voice steady. "Stronger, smarter, but so are we. Our bond with our guardians is our greatest weapon. They may have technology, but we have unity, courage, and instinct, and that cannot be defeated." Her wolves circled around her, growling softly, sensing her determination. Dogs settled at her side, alert and protective. Hawks circled above, scanning the skies even as darkness fell. Humans and their guardians were ready, and the stars above seemed to shine in approval, reflecting the extraordinary bond that made them more than survivors. They were warriors. The ambassador, back in orbit, sent a report to his council. His words were tinged with respect and caution. These humans, they are unlike any species we have faced. Their strength lies not in weapons or numbers, but in strategy, adaptability, and their bond with creatures we had dismissed. Any future encounter will require careful planning. Underestimating them would be fatal. Meanwhile, in the settlement, Mara walked through the streets, checking defenses and acknowledging her team's efforts. She stopped at the training ground where wolves and dogs rested briefly, their eyes still alert. She knelt, brushing her hands across the fur of one massive wolf. "We will face them again," she whispered. "And next time, we will be ready." The first phase of the war had ended. Humans had defended their home, not with raw firepower alone, but through unity, intelligence, and the extraordinary abilities of their guard animals. They had shown the galaxy that humans were resourceful, courageous, and impossible to underestimate. And as the night deepened, Mara looked up at the stars, feeling a quiet pride and unshakable resolve. "No matter what comes," she murmured, "we will always stand together. Humans and their guardians, nothing can break that bond." The battle may have paused, but the war was far from over. And when the ambassador returned, stronger and wiser, the humans and their extraordinary guardians would be ready to meet him head-on once again. The horizon burned with the light of approaching alien ships. Commander Mara stood on the ridge, her wolves flanking her and massive dogs stationed at her side. Above, hawks circled, their eyes sharp and unblinking. This was the moment she had anticipated, the ambassador's final attempt to test, intimidate, or conquer the humans. But Mara was calm. She had studied the enemy, trained her team, and trusted in her guardians. Tonight the humans would show their strength, not through weapons alone, but through unity, intelligence, and courage. From orbit, the alien ambassador watched carefully. He had learned from previous attempts, adapting his strategy with precision. Elite squads and advanced drones formed the first wave, moving in patterns designed to probe and confuse the humans. Their ships hovered just above the settlement, ready to deploy reinforcements at any sign of vulnerability. Yet even with technology and numbers on his side, the ambassador could sense something different this time, something that unsettled him. Humans were not just defending, they were orchestrating. Mara signaled subtly to her team. Wolves padded forward, forming moving walls along the ridges, blocking possible entry points. Dogs stationed themselves strategically at the settlement's entrances and supply routes. Hawks dove in calculated arcs, distracting and intercepting surveillance drones. Every creature, every human, moved in perfect synchrony, a living network of strategy and instinct. The first clash came swiftly. Alien squads descended from their ships, expecting to overwhelm the human defenders with sheer speed and firepower. But Mara had predicted this. Wolves intercepted, blocking their paths. Dogs flanked, guiding the attackers into positions where humans waited. Hawks swooped, forcing drones and scouts off course. Every move the aliens made was anticipated, countered, and redirected with precision. A particularly bold alien squad attempted to charge through the main gate. Mara had prepared a trap. Wolves surged from both sides, blocking the charge and forcing the aliens into a narrow corridor. Dogs created obstacles behind them, preventing retreat. Human defenders were ready at key points, using minimal force but maximum control. The aliens realized too late that they were cornered, trapped by strategy rather than brute strength. The ambassador's brow furrowed. This was unlike anything he had encountered. He had faced countless species across the stars, all relying on technology, numbers, or intimidation. But humans were different. They combined instinct, intelligence, and loyalty into something far greater than the sum of their parts. And their guardians, these animals he had once dismissed as mere beasts, moved with precision and awareness that rivaled trained soldiers. The battle escalated as more alien squads attempted to breach different parts of the settlement. Mara moved calmly among her team, giving subtle signals. Wolves shifted to block new approaches, dogs redirected attackers, and hawks dived at drones and scouts alike. The humans themselves remained composed, guiding their guardians, coordinating defenses, and exploiting every opportunity the aliens gave them. One alien squad tried a surprise maneuver, splitting into smaller units to infiltrate the settlement from multiple directions. Mara had anticipated such tactics. She signaled, and her wolves split into two packs, converging silently to intercept the alien units. Dogs flanked and herded, while humans positioned themselves at key points, ready to intercept any that slipped past the Guardians. The plan worked flawlessly. The alien units were contained without a single human or animal injured. The ambassador realized the scale of the humans' coordination. Their strength is in their unity, he muttered. Not in numbers, not in firepower. Every movement is calculated, every response amplified by their guardians. They are extraordinary. Mara's strategy was more than defense. It was control. Every alien move was predicted, every approach countered, every attack channeled into predictable paths. The humans were not just surviving, they were dictating the flow of the battle. Wolves and dogs worked seamlessly with humans, blocking, redirecting, and intimidating. Hawks maintained aerial dominance, forcing drones and scouts to adjust constantly. The aliens had numbers and technology, but the humans had intelligence and instinct, an advantage no machine could overcome. A crucial moment arrived when the IOE ambassador deployed a heavily armed assault vehicle, intending to break the settlement's defenses once and for all. Mara had already prepared for it. She signaled a group of massive wolves who intercepted the vehicle with a coordinated charge, their combined weight and force slowing it down. Dogs attacked the vehicle's flanks, immobilizing it further. Human defenders moved in precisely, disabling key systems with minimal effort. The assault vehicle was neutralized before it could harm a single human. The battlefield was alive with movement, but the humans maintained calm. Wolves, dogs, and hawks moved with purpose, guided by instinct and subtle commands. The aliens were forced to retreat repeatedly, unable to break through, frustrated by a defense they could not predict or overcome. Mara watched with quiet pride as her team and their guardians executed strategy flawlessly. Finally, the ambassador called for a full retreat. His forces regrouped in orbit, battered not by weapons alone, but by the intelligence, coordination, and adaptability of the humans. The humans had not just survived, they had won, proving their resilience and ingenuity beyond any measure of firepower or technology. From his ship, the ambassador addressed his council. These humans, they are unlike any species we have encountered. Their strength lies not in their numbers or weapons, but in strategy, adaptability, and their bond with creatures we dismissed. Any future encounter will require careful planning. Underestimating them would be a grave mistake. Back on the ground, Mara walked among her team and their guardians. Wolves circled her, growling softly in approval. Dogs settled at her side, alert but calm. Hawks returned to their perches above, watching the skies. Every human and every guardian had played a part in the victory, their coordination and unity a testament to what humans could achieve when they fought together. Mara stopped at the edge of the settlement, looking out at the horizon. The alien ships were disappearing into the distance, but she knew they would return. They will come again, she said quietly. But so will we. And next time, we will be ready. Not because we fear them, but because we trust ourselves and our guardians. The settlement erupted in quiet celebration. Humans had survived, defended their home, and proved the value of strategy, intelligence, and unity. The guard animals, loyal and fearless, had played a crucial role, demonstrating that humans were never truly alone in the fight. As night fell, Mara looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the alien ambassador was reporting back, acknowledging human ingenuity and courage. Mara smiled faintly. "We have shown them," she whispered. "Humans are not just survivors. We are warriors, united, intelligent, and unstoppable." Her wolves nudged her gently, dogs rested their heads against her legs, and hawks circled above, eyes glinting in the moonlight. Mara felt a deep sense of pride. Humans had not only defended their home, they had shown the galaxy what it meant to be strong, clever, and united. And as the stars shone above the settlement, one truth became clear. Humans were a force unlike any other in the galaxy. They relied on courage, intelligence, and loyalty, amplified by extraordinary guardians, and nothing, not numbers, not technology, not strategy, could break that bond. The ambassador had learned a lesson he would not forget. Humans were not to be underestimated. They were clever, resourceful, and united in a way no other species had ever demonstrated. And Mara knew that whatever came next, the humans and their extraordinary guardians would face it together, stronger than ever. For now the battle was over. Humans had triumphed, not by weapons alone, but by unity, intelligence, and the bond with their loyal guardians. And in that victory, they had proven one thing beyond all doubt. No force in the galaxy could underestimate the ingenuity, courage, and spirit of humanity. Mara stood atop the ridge one last time that night, her wolves at her side and dogs resting nearby. Hawks perched in the trees, watching the sky. She took a deep breath, letting the calm of victory wash over her. "Together," she whispered, "we are unstoppable, and the galaxy will remember it." The alien ambassador, watching from orbit, could only acknowledge the truth. Humans were extraordinary. Their strength was not in their numbers or technology, but in their unity, intelligence, and the extraordinary bond they shared with their guardians. The galaxy had a new force to reckon with, and it was the humans.